Okay, welcome back. So the next thing the book tells us to do is to create some additional layouts. Now these are not layouts that we're going to use in the traditional way. Up to now, the only place we've ever used a layout is with set content view. So that's not how we're going to do it now. We're going to use these things indirectly, which is kind of cool. And that's probably the reason why it's in the book, because it's kind of unique. So here we go. I'm going to do a right click on layout, and I'm going to say I want a new layout. Now this time the layout can be just a plain old linear guy. I don't need to make him. By the way, you can only have one scroll. That kind of makes sense, right? So linear layout, and I'm going to call this one the same thing they did. Come on. I'm going to call it card layout 1. Okay, cool. Again, now we're going to dress it up. So I'm not going to do everything in the book, but they basically says, grab a text view and drop it on there. And then I need an image view. And then what do you want this thing to be? Well, I want it to be where my map stuff is. So I'm just going to grab this guy. Cool. And then he wants some more text views down here. By the way, this text view down here, again, the book has changed, right? There's an awful lot of stuff in the book that kind of sort of got overcome by events. But in the book, they talk about on page 149, what they tell you is to change this to the accent color, okay? So we're going to do that. We're going to do precisely what it says to do. So I'm just going to go down here to text color. Hey, can I cheat and just type in color to find text color? Cool. And then I'm going to type at color / color accent. And it says, what the heck are you talking about? Well, things have changed. So instead of using an at color, I'm going to use a question mark attribute, ATR. Now, wait a minute now. Let's just stop. I've kind of danced around this a bit, but let's talk about what all this stuff means. Let me bring the font up a little bit so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to grab like 18 or something. Okay, so if I said at something, like at layout something, some activity, main, like that. What the heck does an at mean? The at is like a pseudo directory. It's kind of sort of a directory, but it's not exactly pointing to an exact file. It's pointing to something that the machine can kind of get at. So if I said map image1.png, okay, there could be 6 or 7 of those things. We only copied 1, but there could be like 6 of them. 1 for each one of the densities that the machine could have, right? Pixel densities. So mipmap doesn't mean go directly to a folder. It says go to a folder and yet let you figure it out, Mr. Computer. Mr. Computer, you pick which one of the activity mains is the most appropriate. You pick whichever one of the images that are most appropriate. But then you'll finally get to a point where I need to do, so the at and the layout and at and minimap is like a pseudo directory. The activity main or image, that's a pseudo file, right? So what if I wanted to read a particular line inside a file, okay? That's what this guy is. The ATTR something, whatever, like color accent, is not reading the entire file. It's one line out of a file. Now, most likely, the attribute thing is only with themes, and we're going to talk about themes again, but let me just close all this junk down, and I'm going to leave that up. Might use it for something, don't know. Okay, so I'm going to go to values and themes, and we have 2 themes associated with our guy. And if I look into this guy and just, bring him up, there's a thing for color primary and all the rest of these things. And so I've tapped into an attribute, an actual honest to God one of these lines. Well, not this one. I'm using a standard Android one called color accent. So one more time, what's the difference? Okay, that is basically a directory and a file, and this is a line in a file. Almost always, I'm not sure if I could say always, but I think it's always associated with a theme. Okay, I think. All right, now we got that out of the way. Let's pick up where we left off. So they want you to build some cards, and so the next thing we're going to do is they want you to build a dimensions thing. Kind of cool. Now, again, this is an unusual technique, which is probably why it's in the book. What they're basically saying is that I could build a set of attributes that I could apply to an image or a card in this case. In this case, it's going to have like rounded corners and, you know, all sorts of cool stuff like that, and padding and what's called depth. And it's going to have all that, and it's going to apply to every single one of the items. So it's sort of like if this was a web class, this would be like a CSS file that you could apply, and then every time you built a new one, it would just automatically start inheriting those things. So it's kind of cool. So we're going to create us a dims file. Okay. So I'm going to do a right click on values and say new and values resource file. Okay, and I'm going to call it dimins for dimensions. Dimins. Cool. Now, I've tried not to cheat here, but I don't like typing. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a paste operation because I've already copied this thing. Okay, so now I have some dimensions. It's a card corner and a card margin that have been built in automatically. Okay, that's what this thing does for a living. Okay, cool. Let me close off some of these guys because we don't really need them as much as we do some of these other things. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my layout guy, my original layout guy, the guy who has the linear layout, right? And now I'm going to put in a card view control. So where the heck would that be? Would that be in here? Yep. Okay, so now I have a card view control. It's under the containers. That's pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to go in and make some additions to this guy. So I'm going to pop on over to, let me just switch on over to the code view. So here's our card view guy. Okay, so I'm just going to replace this with in my paste buffer because I don't like typing. Okay, so what I've done is I've got wrapped content, and I've got wrapped content, I got a center, and I'm using the dimensions. Oh, by the way, I'm missing what's called a namespace. See how I've got this red guy, and it says, hey, so it added a namespace on here. Okay, cool. So now my card view, whenever I copy and paste my card view, it's going to contain the dimensions. So I could go to my dimensions file and tweak it, and it would change all of the cards. Cool? All right, cool. Now, one of the weird things that we're going to do is I need to edit this guy to include the layout. Now, this is a little weird, okay? So just bear with me. See how this is a normal self-closing tag? I need to undo the self-closing tag thing. Okay, so I just need to make that. So see what I did? I just backed over it and changed it to a normal closing brace, which automatically generated this next piece for me. Kind of cool? And now I have to do some typing inside here. So while I'm inside my card view, I need another guy. So I'm going to use angle bracket, and I'm going to say include, and then I give it basically the name of the file that I want. Well, it's a layout file, and it's equal to my card layout one, and then close off the angle brackets. Okay? Actually, to tell you the truth, I'm going to change this to a self-closing tag. It just looks better. Not that it really matters, okay? Kind of cool. All right, so I built a card, and so several things that are unusual about this assignment. One is we're using a layout as an include, which is kind of weird. We're using dimensions, which is kind of cool. So now, in theory, you could just copy and paste this guy and then do all about your business. But I'm actually not going to do that because that's not really what this is all about. I'm supposed to be giving you a guided tour. You're supposed to be doing this yourself. So I'm not going to do it for you. All right, so make some tweaks like they say, and let's move on. So on page 155, they start talking about themes and material design. This is kind of a big picture kind of a view. So what the heck is a theme? Well, they used to have this thing. You would go to Tools, and there would be a thing on the toolbar called a theme editor. Okay, they took it away, and God only knows why they took it away. So it allows you to change themes. Now we have some themes. So when we first started up, we got an automatically generated theme. Now, which theme are we currently using is a fascinating discussion, because if I go up, themes inherit. So if I put a theme at the top level, then everything underneath that is going to inherit from that theme. So what is the toppest level of our application here? Well, it's this manifest guy. So if I double click on this manifest guy, and he says we're using a style, a theme called style theme.chapter5, which was automatically generated for us. Okay, so if I go here to my themes guy, I should find something called chapter 5, and there it is. Okay, and right now it says its parent is day. It's dark action bar. Cool. Let's go look at what this one looks like. Okay. Actually, I don't see that much difference. Huh. Oh well. The idea is that you could have multiple themes. You could have a light theme and a dark theme. You could have it so that you would ask the user, what theme would you like? And you would click on the thing. You can go in and make changes to any of these things. So if I go to the designer on this, okay? So let me get back to something where we can get back to the designer. If I go to the designer and start looking at like colors and stuff, anytime you see one of these little patchwork guys, so I'm just going to like text color. Oh, I guess I don't have a text color because I don't have text. You'll see this little box, and the box will show two different colors. That means we're using a theme. So this particular thing doesn't have a theme. Let me quickly just put a text view in here someplace. Oh wait, I got text view in here somewhere, don't I? Yeah, right there. Cool. I can't see it now, but inside my card view is some text. Oh well, doesn't really matter. The theme is the thing it's after. It'll pick that up and then make it all happen. Okay, we're coming up on the 15-minute mark, so you guys know how this works.